I'll put it in sports terms why you got fired. You were fucking with O.J. too much. That's exactly why you were fired, man.
Well, I don't know.
That's his buddy.
Yeah, it's his buddy.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got canned.
O.J.'s a good guy. I mean, he's not. Potential jurors for the O.J. Simpson case were asked to fill out a 75-page jury questionnaire this week. In the entire state of California, only one person got a perfect score. Chow Ming Wu, who after the trial plans to attend Caltech. By the way, you can now purchase a bronze statue of the Juice for only $3,395. And for an even $5,000, you can buy one that Al Cowlings has kissed the ass of. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn. According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses, or treat. And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that. And O.J. announced this week that he's coming out with a new book called I Want to Tell You. And if it's successful, O.J. will work on yet another book entitled From Football to Prison, My 25 Years of Showering with Other Men. And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. Judge Ito was interviewed this week by a local TV station in Los Angeles. Asked by the interviewer if it was appropriate for a supposedly impartial judge to be on TV with his case still pending, Ito said, maybe not, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife? It was revealed today that O.J. Simpson told police that Nicole Brown Simpson used to beat him up. He also claimed that she and Ron Goldman killed him. O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, we want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people. Well, let's get to O.J. O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind O.J. of how much more killing he still has to do. Well, O.J. Simpson's lawyers stopped feuding this week, finally. The Dream Team, F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, were able to put aside their differences and express their admiration for each other after O.J. threatened to cut their heads off. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, sleepy truckers are responsible for 1,000 deaths a year. In second place, O.J. Simpson at 2 deaths a year. It was revealed this week that defense lawyer Johnny Cochran once abused his first wife. In his defense, Cochran said, "Hey, at least I didn't kill her like some people I know." Tomorrow, Judge Lance Ito will take O.J. and the jury on a tour of the now famous crime scene. For the jury, it will be their first look at the actual location. Of course, for O.J., it will be just a case of been there, done that. Judge Lance Ito was happy with the jurors' field trip to the crime scene last week. It went off without a hitch, said Ito. Not one murder. O.J.'s pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that O.J. is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing. And this week, Simpson defense lawyers questioned witnesses about a half-melted container of ice cream found at the murder site. The Simpson defense has seized upon the ice cream for 2 reasons. 1, it may help fix the time of the murders, and 2, it was the only thing in the murder scene without any of O.J.'s blood on it. To illustrate the point that their client is running out of money to defend himself, O.J. Simpson's lawyer said this week that if he had to do it over again, after killing his victims, O.J. would now rob them as well. We went... Was O.J. Simpson high on speed the night of the murders? Absolutely not, said defense attorney Johnny Cochran today. And a simple test of any of O.J.'s blood found at the crime scene will prove it. And O.J. pal Al Cowling said this week that in looking for the truth in the O.J. Simpson case, he sometimes talks to a picture of Nicole Brown Simpson, something that in the past would have gotten him killed by O.J. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, "Hey, you're O.J. Simpson." Oh no, O.J. has struck again. How about that? Not a good thing. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Hertz Rental Car Company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife. This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, "Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat." And a new shocker in the O.J. Simpson trial. This afternoon, Judge Lance Ito dismissed yet another juror, a 45-year-old African-American male, for failing to tell the court that he had once worked for Hertz Rent-A-Car and that he had once held Nicole Brown Simpson's glasses while O.J. killed her. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into 2 camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A bad week for the prosecution of the O.J. Simpson trial. Under intense cross-examination by defense lawyer Barry Scheck, LAPD crime expert Dennis Fung admitted that he may have contaminated the crime scene when he accidentally dropped a big bucket full of O.J.'s DNA. Our top story tonight, this week in the O.J. Simpson trial. After grisly photos of the murdered Nicole Brown Simpson were shown in court, O.J. turned his head away and wept. It was at that moment that he realized he would never be able to kill her again. Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab two people at the same time. Remember 12 Angry Men, the classic courtroom drama? Well, the first film about the O.J. Simpson case is in the works. It's entitled 9 Angry Black People, 2 Scared Asians, and a White Guy Who Hasn't Spoken Since Rosa Lopez. Well, the trial of the century is over. Late yesterday, the fate of O.J. Simpson, the most famous murder suspect in United States history, was placed in the hands of the jurors. They must now decide whether to free him or get all their heads cut off.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I was a broken apart by you.
Thanks, I'm Norm MacDonald, and now the fake news. Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California. Two hours after the verdict, LA police had their first solid lead in the hunt for the real killers. A new witness has come forward who saw 3 men fleeing the crime scene the night of the murders. Police have released this sketch and would like to hear from anyone who has seen these 3 individuals. On Tuesday at 1:15, the moment the Simpson verdict was delivered, Court TV scored its highest ratings ever. An hour later, the channel went out of business. Well, that covers the main developments in the O.J. Simpson case this week. And after all, other important things are going on in the world. Now more O.J. Simpson. When Simpson trial juror Gina Rodborough returned home this week, her little girls were delighted to have her back. And no wonder. She lets him get away with murder. Our top story tonight. Following his shocking acquittal 2 weeks ago, O.J. Simpson vowed never to rest until the real killers of Nicole Brown Simpson are brought to justice. And the manhunt continues. After initially vowing never to rest until his wife's killers are brought to justice, O.J. Simpson this week changed his pledge slightly. He now vows to have sex with hot-looking models. Meanwhile, this week, O.J. took girlfriend Paula Barbieri to see the erotic murder mystery Jade. Other moviegoers took the couple's presence in stride, though they did become uncomfortable when O.J. repeatedly shouted out, "You call that a stabbing? Simpson had been discussing marriage with girlfriend Paula Barbieri, but reportedly she has called the wedding off. Her fear was that if they married, she would be brutally murdered. And then someone would try to pin it on O.J. The L.A. District Attorney's Office has given Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden bonuses of over $10,000 for, quote, lengthy hard time duty, unquote, in the O.J. Simpson case. A spokesman for the DA said that the prosecutor's bonuses would have been even higher, except for the fact that they let a killer go free. According to a report out this week, O.J. Simpson is still extremely angry that Robert Shapiro began writing a book while he was defending the football legend. However, Simpson is extremely pleased that he got away with killing his wife and that waiter. A down-and-out O.J. Simpson, depressed that all of his money-making ideas have failed, has decided to go back to doing what he does best: killing people. In a surprise move, O.J. Simpson has offered to give an interview to CNN with, quote, absolutely no ground rules. But interviewers Greta Van Susteren and Roger Cossack have asked for one: don't kill us. In sworn testimony this week, Paula Barbieri admitted that she had broken up with O.J. Simpson the very night Nicole Brown Simpson was killed. Boy, that had to be a tough day for O.J., huh? First he gets dumped by his girlfriend, then Colombian hitmen kill his wife. Man, that's... You gotta... In an effort to raise money for his enormous legal bills, O.J. Simpson this week began marketing a video which attempts to prove his innocence. Should the tape not sell, Simpson has a backup idea: his very own video of the actual murders themselves. This week on NBC's Dateline, 3 members of the Simpson jury explained their not guilty votes and argued that if Simpson had killed his wife, there should have been blood stains all over his gate, front door, and light switches. Also this week, Simpson friend Al Cowlings released his video, How to Get Blood Stains Off Gates, Front Doors, and Light Switches. In his civil court deposition this week, O.J. Simpson denied under oath that he ever punched, kicked, or slapped his ex-wife Nicole. Oh, great. As if O.J. isn't busy enough tracking down the real killers, now he's got to track down the real wife beater, too. This guy is crazy. And in Brentwood, O.J. himself was spotted manning a lemonade stand with his daughter Sydney. Asked by reporters why sales were so poor, O.J. replied, "Beats me," and then he went back to cutting lemons with a giant knife. A new development in the O.J. Simpson civil trial this week. According to sworn testimony, Nicole Brown Simpson had told her therapist that she was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson. Asked why he didn't report this earlier, the therapist said, "I was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson." I said getting beaten, and that may have hurt a little. According to a Senate Committee on Violence, Denise Brown has done more to bring attention to the cause of battered women than any other person. Well, almost any other person. Once again, O.J. gets the short shrift. In Los Angeles this week, Lyle and Eric Menendez were found guilty of first-degree murder. So, to review California law, it is killing your wife, legal. Killing your parents, illegal. A shocking new development in the O.J. Simpson case. Late this afternoon, a high-ranking official in the Los Angeles Police Department admitted to Geraldo Rivera that the police did conspire to frame O.J. Simpson for the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. However, they called the conspiracy off when they got to the murder scene and found that O.J. really did do it. While in England, where he spoke at Oxford University, Simpson had defended actor Marlon Brando's criticism of Hollywood Jews. Later, from his island hideaway, Brando sent O.J. a telegram which read, "You're not helping." Arriving back in the U.S. after his week in London, O.J. Simpson was asked by a reporter why he hadn't spent Mother's Day with his children. A visibly annoyed Simpson replied, "Idiot, I didn't spend Mother's Day with my kids because I killed their mother." Well, more O.J. Simpson news. On Friday, the Juice officially endorsed Bill Clinton for president, adding, quote, "I'd like to help him any way I can." To which the president replied, "Well, there is one thing." In Los Angeles this week, the defense suffered a setback in the second O.J. trial when Simpson was ordered to turn over a secret videotape which lawyers say contains proof of his guilt. What's on the tape? The first O.J. trial. Finally this week, lawyers in the new O.J. Simpson trial actually found a prospective juror who claims to know nothing about O.J. Simpson, the murders, or the first trial, and who told the court, quote, "I don't even know when it started or ended." Unfortunately, the man had to be disqualified when it was learned that he had been a juror in the first O.J. trial. During a recent interview on 2020, longtime O.J. Simpson friend Robert Kardashian said he now believes Simpson may be guilty, though he did add that had he believed O.J. was guilty at the time, he never would have agreed to hide his bloody clothes and knife. At his civil trial in Los Angeles this week, O.J. Simpson attorneys began their case with an attack on Nicole Brown Simpson's character. Outraged Brown family lawyers responded, quote, "Nicole is a victim. No matter what she did, she certainly did not cut her own throat." To which Simpson's attorneys replied, "On the contrary, that is precisely what we intend to prove." At the Simpson civil trial this week, O.J. and Fred Goldman got into an explosive shouting match. Mr. Goldman bellowed at O.J., "Don't give me that damn look," while O.J. shouted back, "I wasn't even looking at you. You're just mad because I killed your son." Against the Jets last week, Buffalo Bills running back Thurman Thomas broke O.J. Simpson's career rushing record, and the week before, he surpassed Simpson in career touchdowns. Next up for Thomas, an attempt to kill 3 people at once. O.J. Simpson was in a different courtroom this week, attempting to regain custody of his 2 children. In order to prove to the court how much he loves his kids, O.J. pointed out, quote, "Hey, they're still alive, aren't they?" This week in Los Angeles civil court, an FBI expert testified that shoe prints left by the killer exactly matched shoes belonging to O.J. Simpson. In response, O.J. stood up and exclaimed, "Wait a minute. Wait a doggone minute. I just figured it out. The real killer is me." According to researchers in Australia, koala bears have fingerprints so close to those of human beings that they could easily be mistaken by police at the scene of a crime. It should be noted, however, that the research was funded by O.J. Simpson. So, our top story tonight comes from the O.J. Simpson civil trial, where this week it was revealed that in his first interview with police, Simpson had refused to take a lie detector test. His reason? It detects lies. This week at the O.J. Simpson civil trial, the focus shifted from the defendant to the alleged character flaws of Nicole Brown Simpson. Attorney for O.J. hammered away at her lifestyle, citing sexual promiscuity, drug use, and the fact that she married a double murderer. Meanwhile, Simpson defense attorney Robert Baker argued that a dark spot in a crime scene photo was a, quote, mystery shoe print, suggesting that there were actually 2 killers. O.J. hopes this will support his theory that he did not act alone. In dramatic testimony this week at a civil trial, O.J. Simpson said he didn't commit suicide only because, quote, my mother told me you don't go to heaven if you kill yourself. Oddly, his mother did say, quote, it's okay to kill other people. In a unanimous verdict this week, a Santa Monica jury found O.J. Simpson liable for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, awarding the plaintiffs damages of $8.5 million. Reacting to the verdict, Simpson insisted that he has nowhere near that amount of money and that his only remaining asset is 30 pairs of Brune Mali shoes. The announcement of the verdict came toward the end of President Clinton's annual State of the Union address, and to many observers, completely overshadowed the event. Even the president was distracted during his speech, waiting to hear exactly how much it costs to kill your wife. Our top story tonight, this week at the civil trial of O.J. Simpson, the jury, which had earlier found him liable in the deaths of Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, this week tacked on an additional $25 million in punitive damages. On hearing the news, Simpson declared, quote, this is far from over. Asked to clarify that statement, O.J. said, quote, I'm going to kill more people. What do you think I meant? The first place in Weekend Update's Most Romantic Valentine contest goes to David Delafera of Kearney, New Jersey. Yesterday, Mr. Delafera, who works as a fireman here in the city, climbed the ladder of a fire truck up to the third-floor office window of his girlfriend, Alexandra. There, with a dozen roses and a wedding ring, he proposed to her in front of all her co-workers. Congratulations, David. And coming in last place for the third year in a row, O.J. Simpson. At a book signing in New York this week, Fred Goldman once again offered to forget the millions owed to him by O.J. Simpson if he would simply admit to the Brentwood murders. A visibly annoyed O.J. responded, why in the world would I do that when I have no intention of paying you anyway? More bad news for O.J. This week, HarperCollins reached an agreement with the Brown family to publish his late wife's diary. Especially troublesome to Simpson is this final entry. Dear Diary, I have to run now because O.J. is here to murder me. And also the guy who returned my glasses. I think he might murder him, too. Also this week, a California newspaper revealed that O.J. Simpson was awarded custody of his children mainly because a court-ordered psychological test showed that he is a loving father. It should be noted, however, that the same test also showed that he was a loving husband. According to O.J. Simpson's niece, Terry Baker, when O.J.'s mother, Eunice Simpson, first heard about the slaying of Nicole Brown, she exclaimed, he did it. Reached for comment, O.J. said, my mom was just guessing. I hadn't even told her yet. Meanwhile, O.J. himself may have some explaining to do. For months, he has denied hiding financial assets, including valuable sports mementos, from the Brown and Goldman families. But earlier today, Simpson pal A.C. Cowlings was stopped as he tried to leave the country. In the backseat of his Bronco, police found O.J.'s Heisman Trophy, disguised with a tiny fake beard. More bad news for O.J. Simpson. This week, a Los Angeles court ordered him to turn over his Heisman Trophy to the Goldman family. In addition, the same court may order Simpson to surrender a coffee mug inscribed, World's Greatest Husband. More followed from the recent conviction of British au pair Louise Woodward on murder charges. This week, her attorney, Barry Scheck, lashed out at the legal system, saying, quote, what kind of sick society do we live in where an innocent girl is sent to prison, while a double murderer like O.J. Simpson goes free? Kind of a... In a statement with profound legal implications, the FBI announced this week that for the first time, its experts can now identify an individual with 100% accuracy through his DNA. And really, when you think about it, the timing could not have been better, said former football great O.J. Simpson. He was good on the gridiron. Oh, there's a phone call here. Here, I have a phone. Let me see now. Who would this be? Hello?
Hey, Norm, what's up? It's OJ.
OJ! Hey! Hi, OJ. Hey, what have you been up to?
I just got back from the movie.
Oh, the movie. What'd you say?
Beautiful girls.
Oh, yeah. Who's in that again?
Oh, you know, Uma Thurman, Lauren Harley, Mira Sorvino, Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell's in Beautiful Girls?
I know, Norm. I was nonplussed myself.
Anyway there, Juice. Hey, how's it going with the, the manhunt there for the killers?
Oh, Norm, don't ask.
Not good, huh?
That is an understatement. I'm no closer to finding the real killers today than I was when I started. It's like they vanished into thin air.
Oh, well, give it time there, OJ. You know, it can't be that bad.
Oh, believe me, it is that bad. Sometimes I feel like I might as well shut down the whole investigation.
Oh, come on now. Hey, did anything ever come out of that lead you picked up there about the shadowy figure leaving the crime scene?
No, you're not going to believe it. It turns out that was me.
Well, so I guess that's a dead end, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey, how about that guy that was seen running back to your house by limo driver Alan Parks?
Well, guess what? That turns out that was me also.
Oh. Well, what are you going to do, huh?
Nothing you can do. Sometimes you just have to laugh. Anyway, Norm, while I have you here, I was going to ask you a favor.
Oh, yeah, sure, Juice. What is it?
I produced a video dealing with some of the inconsistencies in the evidence, and I've been having trouble getting the 800 number out on the airwaves.
Really? I'll put it out.
Okay, that would be great. It's 1-800-555-0165.
Oh, okay. That's 1-800-555-0165?
Right. 1-800-555-0165.
Okay, 1-800-555-0165. Okay. Hey, what's the video cost there, OJ? Was it like $100?
Oh, no, it's $29.95.
$29.95? Good Lord, that's nothing.
Yeah, well...
You're practically giving it away.
We're trying to price it so that the average person can afford to buy it.
Well, OJ, the question's not can the average person afford to buy it. The question is, can the average person afford not to buy it?
Well, we think it's a quality video.
Well, the price is certainly right. Hey, let me ask you a favor, OJ. Can I give out that number one more time?
Sure.
Okay, then. That's 1-800-555-0165.
Right. Okay, Norm, I'm going to let you go.
Okay, Juice. Hey, take care, buddy. O.J. Simpson, everybody. O.J. Simpson. O.J. the Juice. Well, in a sworn deposition this week, O.J. Simpson claimed that he never, ever beat, choked, or hit his ex-wife with a closed or open fist. Luckily for O.J., lawyers forgot to ask if he'd ever cut her head off. And I'll tell you something.
You are something.
You have a friend in that man right there, Andy Richter.
Yes, I do. He's a good friend of me. Thank you. He's a good friend.
Yeah, and when I came to Hollywood, Andy was a good friend to me.
Oh, he was nice to you when you first came
He was
here?
absolutely. We had nothing, you know. We were just starting out. I was working at Artie's Deli coffee shop. Bussing tables, you know, and stuff like that. And he was always there to help me and stuff. He was the first guy I actually met. He was he had some pylon on the TV and stuff, and he was really so sweet to me, you know. And he said, I want to invite you over to a Hollywood party. No, I was just a farm boy from Canada, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And Canada, yeah. And a big nation up to the north.
Sure, yes. Powerful nation. Lovely people.
So I said, wow, here's my, Andy Richter's going to show me, I'm going to go to a Hollywood party. How exciting, you know? So he said, yeah, he said, it's going to be a pretty wild party. You know, I'm not used to wild parties. I said, what is a wild party there? You know, I don't get out much. He says, oh, you know, he's like a little drinking, a little fighting, a little fornicating, you know? I said, wow, man, that sounds pretty good. I said, what time should I show up? He goes, anytime, it's just the two of us. Now...
Came over, didn't you? A little fighting, a little fornicating. What's he, an old pirate all of a sudden? Ah.
You notice how I didn't say it's 11.
Hey!
No, because it's 11:30.
It's that Tonight Show now, buddy boy.
That's what I'm trying to point out. It's 11:30.
Thanks for pointing that out. That was great of you.
You want to hear my dad's favorite joke?
Yeah.
He says he was from the farm, you know, and he says a guy comes from the city. City slicker comes and he buys a farm, and the farmer next door comes over to him and says, "Hey, now, would you like to come over to my house tonight? We're going to have a big shindig for you because we're neighborly here." And the city guy said, "Well, this is something I really like, you know, that this is why I moved to the farm, to have things like this, you know." Guy says it'll be a hell of a big party, you know. He goes, it'll be, a little drinking, a little fighting, a little fucking, you know. And the city guy goes, well, that sounds good. What time should I be here? And the farmer goes, anytime you like, just the two of us. So they would drink, then get in a fight.
And fuck. It's your dad's favorite joke.
That was my dad's favorite joke.
He said, welcome to the neighborhood. I know it's not exactly a neighborhood. I live 40 miles from here. But if you're interested, tomorrow night I'm throwing a welcome to the neighborhood bash. There's going to be a lot of barbecue, some drinking, some dancing, and some wild sex. Would you like to come? And Morty said, sure, but what should I wear? The cowboy said, it doesn't make any difference. It's just going to be the two of us.
Part of the death squad? Okay.
But I have had problems with them.
Yeah.
They tried to derail me years ago. Well, because I was in cahoots with Mencia, they thought.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So when the whole Carlos Mencia, Joe Rogan thing happened, they had me on tape, right? Like, I didn't know that Joe Rogan was, I love Joe, he's a friend of mine. Joe, if you're listening, we're good, right? But the thing is that I didn't know that he was taping me. So I said, yeah, Mencia steals.
Doing Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's his friend.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
That's Ned Holness.
Oh, I know Ned Holness. Yeah, he's really good. Hey, that's all that stuff.
How's he doing?
Hey, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ned.
Do a couple minutes of his material.
Well, I'll just do some of my material, and then it'll be the same. You know, so I'll just talk about myself.
What has he ever stolen from you?
I used to do this bit about how I was so small that my dad would have to get on my shoulders to get on a ride at Disneyland.
Right.
Then he did a bit, literally, but this is, I can't do it. But where is this
Who
going?
cares? What the fuck? It's reality.
Anyway, it's good to see you.
This is the reason why comedians get away with stealing. Because comedians like you are afraid of confrontation.
And then I also said that I sucked my cousin's dick.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
That's a sharp left.
Yeah, which I didn't know there was a camera on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gay, but in high school I sucked my cousin's dick.
Yeah,
sure.
And then also on top of that, I said that Vietnamese people were jungle Asians. which I had to apologize to the Vietnamese people, and I apologize. That's what I said back then.
Do you mean he put this up on the internet or something?
Then he put it on the internet. Death Squad did, right?
Yeah, what did I say?
So he had to publicly make an apology to the Vietnamese community because he called you guys, and he calls Filipinos this too. He calls us all jungle gooks or jungle Asians.
Not
jungle,
gooks.
not gooks, jungle Asians.
That's by saying jungle gooks, you make it worse.
He said jungle Asians.
But how do you justify that?
Well, because you guys live in the fucking jungle. What do you mean? How do I justify it?
We don't live in the jungle.
All right, so if I go to Vietnam, is there a jungle there?
There is a jungle. There's a jungle in plenty of other countries.
There's not a jungle in Korea.
What?
I'm sure you guys have rainforests.
No, we don't. At all. It's trees. Like it looks like Denver.
You're trying to say Korea is Denver.
Yeah, it's.
And all of a sudden now, right? My aunt, my cousin's mom, calls me. He didn't suck your dick.
No, you sucked his dick.
Yeah, no, we sucked each other's dick. Yeah, and vice versa, right? When you're single trying to attract a partner, it's important to project the qualities you desire, which I understand, but boy, oh boy, have I had to suck a lot of dick lately.
That's sort of like a Bobby Lee joke.
It is a lot like a Bobby Lee.
All right. What about this one? This is for you.
I didn't. You know what I mean? And then my mom, that's my mom's sister, they didn't talk, and then she died.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ.
She died, right?
Story.
See, so the last thing that, I heard from my aunt is you didn't suck each other's dick. And then a couple years later, my mom, they stopped talking, and then she died.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I love Death Squad.
Yeah. How many views did it get?
Millions.
Oh, see?
But then over the years, though, I made my way back into the group, and now we're all good.
So you opened for Mencia, which made you the enemy of the Death Squad.
Yeah. Because
it's like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, it's just like it.
So the Death Squad.
I don't know what Bruce Lee movie.
They're comedians. Well, don't you think Death Squad makes more sense in a Bruce Lee movie than a comedy club?
Is true, that is true.
I went to a comedy club, and then the next week the Death Squad were there. It was just odd. I don't know. And they acted like it was a normal thing. And I said, I was here next week. I said, the Death Squad.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
I mean, when was the last time you did Rogan?
Oh.
Okay.
12
years ago.
Wow.
For real?
Yeah.
What happened?
It's because you are a big vaxxer, right? And you just said I hate him now?
No, I want to do it. It's just I don't know how.
I bet Shab could get you in. All right.
It's a good one.
Bobby's new movie
it's okay. It's
about a boy.
It's okay. It's okay.
He's like the guy, and you're like the little guy.
Little guy.
I'm
You're
like
the
Aaron
skinny
Paul,
guy.
and you're like Cranston.
Yeah, you're Cranston, and you're the other guy.
Yeah, I'm the little shit.
And you just throw him around.
You were on a show that almost was the precursor for.
It definitely was a
precursor.
That's a good word.
Yeah. Because that's in Breaking Bad. But also Weeds was like kind of
broke down the door for Breaking Bad.
Broke down the door for Breaking Bad, he says. You watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's pretty good.
You seen it all the way through?
I haven't. I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind.
It's interesting that people are at different levels of everything now.
Yeah,
you can only do that today. You couldn't do that 5 years ago.
What's that?
Netflix, to be behind it. It's like you missed a show. Guess what? You're not watching it. Until it comes on at night in a few years.
Yeah,
in the
House
old
of
days.
Cards is
Yeah.
all.
Before that, they didn't even have TVs.
Before
That's
TVs,
true.
you
Yeah,
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
You're saying before TVs.
Yeah, nobody
there
talked
were
about
no
Bryan
TVs.
Cranston.
Hi, I read a great article in the New Yorker magazine which talked about the last episode, saying that, in fact, Walt dies in the car, and that the rest of the episode, when he actually hits the snow and the keys drop from the visor, that in fact becomes kind of a whole fantasy of how Walt wants to see everything end. But
Fantasy
in fact,
dream sequence ending, yes
Sure,
or no?
sure.
which I thought was really good, and I just wanted to...
That is interesting. There's a comic, a comedian named NORM MACDONALD who I think was sort of promulgating that, and I think he has a webcast I'm going to go on, podcast I'm going to go on at some point to talk about.
want to do some jokes, David?
Fuck, something, yeah.
Well, here's a very, what do you call it? When a joke is just ripped from today's headlines.
We have to explain how the joke's
Topical. After being drafted in the 7th round by the Rams, Michael Sam kissed his boyfriend. The celebration didn't end there because on ESPN2 there was full insertion. This is a joke.
That's good.
A Westchester parking enforcement officer stole $89,000 in quarters. How much laundry does this guy need to do?
No, this is a good performing joke.
The man behind the voice of Tony the Tiger. Sadly, the man behind the voice of Tony the Tiger died at 64. His last words, "I don't feel great." I gave it something.
Yeah.
Are these left over from when you did updates?
We are living in a golden age.
I go, can we just tell people we went into the behind and we don't have to really do it?
The behind.
I'm trying to clean up your fucking show. We're living in a golden age of Adam masturbating to interracial granny porn.
Gary told you that one in confidence. That's fine.
To stop a pit bull attacking her daughter, a Texas man bit the dog. Well, that's an interesting story. A man bites a dog. It's not what I would call news.
Man bites dog?
Yeah.
It used to be dog bites man, right?
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Yeah.
I don't get this. I don't get it, really. Do you write these for real? Do these come from the fucking YouTube subscribers or whatever?
Oh, you know the search for the Malaysian Airlines? Did you hear about the latest?
I heard it was missing.
Well, did you hear about the latest?
No.
Here, it's on this card.
Oh, okay. The search continues. In related news, a plane was spotted by some cavemen in the year 365 BC. I don't totally get it.
This
back in time?
is the final joke. In my hand.
Thank God. Are we getting the wrap up?
I may not have book smarts, but you know what I have? Supermarket flyer smarts. You know where I got them? From reading a lot of supermarket flyers.
That can't be one of the jokes, is it?
Jesus.
Dude.
Did you ever think?
I smell a mass firing. Is this going to go down as a test show?
No.
You better fucking air it.
Listen, did you ever think that I wanted to...
Jesus Christ. Test show, test show.
Final joke.
It's growing on me.
From David Spade, a man in Chippewa. A man in Chippewa.
Did you help me with that one? A man in Chippewa allowed a hyena to eat his penis after being told by a witch doctor it would help him become rich. Is it me or does it sound like that hyena and witch doctor were in cahoots? That's pretty. I'm glad you saved that for that.
Everything's good about, you know, you're an Irishman. Me mother, she was orange. Me father, he was green. It was the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot. You're Irish.
Yes.
What are you?
Swedish German.
Swedish German. Are you really?
Yeah, really. Why would I lie about that? It's not funny.
It's very odd, because...
It's a very strange lie. I put one over on those people. Yeah.
Swedish German. No, I'll tell you why it's funny, man, because I was in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I met a good old boy down there, and he said, he said, you know Andy Richter?
Yeah? Yeah, he did?
Yeah.
You met a guy in Georgia and he said, you know Andy Richter?
Oh, yeah, you guys do well there.
Oh.
And he said, I said, yeah. He said, you ever heard of Andy Richter joke? I said, no. He said, well, most of it's based on him being Swedish German. And then he told me an Andy Richter joke. And
Really?
But I didn't know he was Swedish German. I thought it was all nonsense.
Yeah, well, now this lines up perfectly. Let me ask you something, because it sort of relates to the first...
Wait, don't you want to hear the joke?
No. Oh, you're down to 6. You're down to to 6. All right, this joke will get you back up. You can get him back. Let's hear the joke.
Well, the fella says, he says, man, he says, you ever hear the time about the old prospector? That's how he tells you,
Yeah.
He says, man, there was an old prospector, and he was prospecting for gold, and he was having a hell of a time getting any gold. It was an empty stake, I believe. And he said he'd come into town one day. He'd been in the mine for a good 8 months. He said, by God, he said, I'm only flesh and blood. Sure. Yeah. And I need a woman, you know. And so he goes into town. He goes up to the bartender. He says, bartender, he says, man, I've been in that mine for a hell of a long time, and I'm only flesh and blood. I need a woman. Well, the bartender says, hell, there ain't no women in this town. If you want to do any of that business, all we got is Andy Richter, the Swedish German. The prospector, he says, no, he says, hell, I ain't into that funny stuff, you know. He says, I'll be fine. So he goes back to his state, you know, and he's back in that mine, man, and 6 months passes, and a year passes, and Conan, you know, people are weak. Man is made of flesh and pride, as the scriptures tell us, and by God, that old prospector finally broke to his knees, and he said, I'm no worse than he went back to the bar. He was a beaten man. He says to the bartender, he says, hell, man, I've been in that place 2.5 years. A man has needs, and if you say there's no women in this here town, he says, well, I'll have to go for Andy Richter, the Swedish German. But he says, listen now, he says, man, I'm a tough old hombre, you know, and I got friends now. He says, I don't want anybody to know about this. You know, this is back in the old days.
Sure, yeah.
He says,
I can tell by the accent, yeah.
He says, I got my cowpoke friends and so forth. I'd hate to hell anybody know about this, you know. This got to be all secret. Nobody. I say, nobody can know about this. Bartender says, well, 4 people will know about it. How do you figure that? He says, well, he says, I'll know about it. He says, you'll know about it. Andy Richter, the Swedish German, will know about it. And the fella that has to hold down Andy will know about it.
Why?
Why? Because Andy Richter, the Swedish German, he don't go for that funny business neither.
Well, at least you left me my dignity.
Yeah.
I like the way that story ended.
Yeah,
that was a nice.
You weren't gay.
Right. Well, but that's not beside the point.
You were raped.
No, it's more. It's more that I wasn't prostituting myself. That's what I was getting.
You're such a horrible man.
We're on basic cable, but it's still valuable airtime.
I don't know about that.
You know, in Georgia, they say there's a whole subgenre of Andy, the Swedish German joke. That's what the guy told me.
Well, you know what? I asked you, how are you?
Yeah?
And you went into, I believe, a 48-minute joke.
Oh,
which
I'm sorry.
was fantastic, but now we have to take a commercial break.
Are you kidding me?
What? Yes! I'm about to grow my beard back if I don't...
Well, a big seller this holiday season is Michael Bolton's Christmas album, This Is the Time. Happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap.
Norm, I think, has one of the best lines that probably I only appreciate on network TV history when he was hosting SNL, and he was talking about the new Michael Bolton Christmas album. Do you remember the line, Norm?
Happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap.
Kills me to this day.
It was funny because that joke was originally supposed to be about Mariah Carey, but she had some boyfriend that was some crazy dangerous guy, and everybody's afraid.
And you figured in an alley you could take a Michael Bolton.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think Bolton kind of made amends a little bit by appearing in that recent SNL skit.
Hysterical. He's
That
hysterical.
That was hilarious.
funny,
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was good.
And he has a great voice.
He does.
I didn't know.
And the song was kind of catchy. The SNL song was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. In stock market news this week, April's 3 biggest losers were Cantab Pharmaceuticals, Champion Enterprises, and Crapco, which manufactures crap. And also crap-related items. Most recently, Mariah Carey's Christmas album. They were... Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Well, I don't know. Playing in a music store in New York this week, Kenny G set a world record by holding a saxophone note for 45 minutes. While he did warn spectators that it would be quite boring, it should be noted that it is every bit as boring to hear Kenny G play different saxophone notes for 45 minutes. This week, CBS aired the Martha Stewart Christmas special, in which she demonstrated that with an old soup can, some used tea bags, some string, and some sparkles, you can make a useless piece of crap. Martha Stewart is here, and she wanted me to tell you, don't let the busboys clear your table off tonight, because a little later Martha will come up here, and she's going to show us how to take those old discarded fish bones and make a beautiful birdhouse. So... That's nice. The New York Public Interest Research Group has unveiled its 10th annual list of dangerous toys for the upcoming Christmas season. Topping the list this year, baby's first circular saw. Well, the annual list of most dangerous holiday toys is out. Number 1 this year, Mattel's Eye Poker Outer. Well, the U.S. Safety Commission has issued a list of unsafe Christmas toys. Topping the list this year, Mattel's gasoline-powered sharp thing. And finally, the #1 selling doll this Christmas is Tickle Me Elmo. And the least popular selling doll, you guessed it, Tickle Me Frank Stallone. Jesus. Scientists have created a genetically superior Christmas tree that will be taller, stronger, and tougher than other trees. One downside, if you don't like your presents, it will kill you. It's a hell of a downside there. And finally, this Christmas, Santa Claus will be starting a new look at up-to-date shopping malls around the country. They will now feature black Santas, Asian Santas, Hispanic Santas, and even Middle Eastern Santas. It is all part of a program to make little children cry. And finally, next week, Christians everywhere will be celebrating Christmas, or, as people born on December the 25th call it, screwed out of a present day.
Connected to our senses. Found a way to let you in.
Where are you going here? You're going to Cobb's in San Francisco. What do you like to do during the days in San Fran to unwind? Do you go?
I just work on my ventriloquism.
Oh, how's that going, Norm?
It's going great, man. I thought Rusty and I would do a little holiday song for you.
Oh, you're kidding me. Let me kick back here and put my feet up in front of the fire, you and Rusty. Which puppet is Rusty? Refresh me.
Rusty's just my friend. You know, I'm having a lot of trouble with my cranky old man. I don't know if you remember old Alec Majerison, the virulent anti-Semite.
Yeah, sure, I remember. What, are you kidding me? I have a plaque commemorating my first meeting.
I'm trying to get rid of that guy because you know he's a Holocaust denier. That's no secret. He's an enthusiastic Holocaust denier, and I've had it up to here with this character. You know, the man, he's just a waste of wood. But I don't know what to do. One of my Jewish friends suggested that, why don't I just throw him in a fire and burn him? But I say 2 wrongs don't make a right. We're not here to talk about that. Let me get Rusty out here. Rusty, say hello to Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Hey, Rusty.
What?
Hi, Rusty.
Who's the dummy here, me or you?
It's me.
It sounds like it's you.
I'm sorry, Rusty. Let me give you my man voice. Hey, Rusty, how are you doing?
Yeah, dummy. Hey, come on now, Rusty. That's ridiculous. Calling Dennis Miller a dummy on his own radio program.
No, can I jump in here for a second and tell you, here's how crazy Norm is. I'm sitting here believing that he actually has a puppet. Like, it's not enough for him to fake the puppet act on the radio and over the phone. You did pull out a puppet and have it on your arm right now, don't you?
Of course I have my pal Rusty here. Yeah.
What do you boys have planned for us today, Rusty, Norm?
We're going to do a song according to this dummy. Would you stop calling me that? You're the dummy. You're the dummy. Now listen. We're going to do a song, a beautiful song. Why? By the way, Rusty, what are you doing for Christmas? Are you going to see your family? Oh, sure. In my family tree, it's an actual tree. Okay, now that's just ridiculous.
You're actually overlapping dialogue here, Norm. You're not even putting a second between you and the puppet's voice.
Now, Rusty, are you ready to sing that song with me? Sure.
There you go.
Okay, I'll start. Here we go. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw him, you would say that he was a drunk. Hey, come on! Well, that's ridiculous.
What the?
Come on now, don't ruin this. Is a classic. I'm sorry. All right, now let's continue. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to town. Rudolph, with your nose so bright, have you been drinking some bathtub gin? What? Okay, now that's enough. That's way beyond the pale.
Stop it, Rusty. Stop.
I wish you'd kick the bucket. Like what? Kick the bucket. What are you talking about? You said pale. Bucket. It's a synonym. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now that's ridiculous. You're the dummy. Okay. Stop. I'm sorry, Dennis. This is going nowhere. This is ridiculous. I apologize for wrestling. I can't go on with this. This is just an abuse to the whole idea.
All right. Now, what separates Rusty's old man voice from the old Holocaust denier's voice? Give me that voice again.
You don't hear from him, do you?
Well, I know Rusty's just wetted the palate for a little more puppetry.
I swore I'd never use this guy.
It's like the Stones doing "Sympathy for the Devil" after Altamont.
There we
never
go.
thought I'd
Alec,
see you play that.
Alec, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. What do you think of this Christmas? What do I think of it? I'm not going to celebrate no holiday where a bunch of bearded New Yorkers killed our savior. Hey, come on now. You're going back in the case. I'm sorry, Dennis.
Oh, no. You didn't quite have control of the posse today, but I realize it's the holidays are amongst us, and that they're a little petulant this time of year.
I can never keep these guys under control.
Norm, you are an absolute wild man.
Roseanne, this is what Kevin Nealon tells us. Tell him that story out of me again. He doesn't have his own anecdotes.
No. All my 90% of my anecdotes come from Kevin Nealon, but he told this real doozy about.
I should talk to him.
Yeah, you should.
So I can have some fun.
He said during Roseanne's
Roseanne
talk
had a
show.
talk show.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So one time, the guest was Joe Pantoliano, and she didn't know who he was.
Oh, you fucked it up! God damn it, oh, motherfucker!
I'm a guest on there, and now it's time to introduce the next guest. And she says, "Okay, this next guy coming out, he's a great actor. He was in Risky Business. He was done all kinds of stuff. I just love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Pantoliano." And he comes out, and as he's walking across the stage toward the desk, she goes, "Oh, I know who he is. I know him."
You don't even have your own stories. You take other people's stories and fuck them up. Very good.
I'll tell you the story, but it's fucked up. But she's like Joe Pantoliano. She goes, this next guy's Joe Pantoliano. He's great. He was in Risky Business, and you all know. Come on out, Joe Pantoliano. And as Joe Pantoliano was walking out, Roseanne said, "I know that guy." Now,
See, you already fucked it up.
Yeah.
So now when he told it the right way,
that's my role.
It didn't work.
Didn't work because he knew that she didn't know.
Don't ask him to tell any more stories.
Damn.
Or jokes or anything.
What do you have to say now?
I mean, I'm not a good,
anything.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it's like...
Gilbert is not looking at your slow burn that you've been trying to perfect.
It's not, I mean...
Interesting story I say this week is that right on Rikers Island, they banned like 2 months ago. They banned pornography, any porno magazines from the prison, because I don't know why they did it, but they had a compromise. They're allowing one porno magazine.
Only one. Huh?
Only one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the porno magazine that they're putting in is Hairy Guy's Ass Illustrated.
Really? Yeah. Well, if you're going to only allow one, I would think that's the one, probably.
It's a good magazine, though.
It is a good,
It's not. It's not all just pictures of Hairy Guy's ass.
The articles are good, actually.
Yeah. I just read it for Hairy Guy's ass.
Well, see, that's you, Andy. Just people are all different.
He was telling me before the show that last week he went to the Hairy Guy's ass mansion.
It was great. Why didn't you? Andy has all the fun. He gets to all the big celebrity parties.
Right. Him and Jimmy Kahn. Stars, it was good to see those workaholic guys because I personally am a workaholic. For many years, I was helplessly addicted to workahol. The Roastmaster General Jeff Ross joins us.
Hi,
Yes.
Jeff. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Oh, you got the first
Hello, world.
applause. Yeah.
Norm, this is so fun. Thank you for having me on your live podcast.
It's always fun to see you without a giant cloud of marijuana smoke between us.
Well, it's outdoors. It drifted away.
Yeah, how you doing, buddy? You got your hair cut a little.
I had a little trim. I was at the doggy groomer for 2 hours today.
Now, I have a question, Jeff. You usually show up wearing something very exotic.
Yeah.
Why the denim today?
I dressed like Billy Jack.
Yeah.
You look sharp.
great.
I like
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're trying to up my game for the live YouTube show.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're a hot fucking piece of ass.
Look at that. I do all my shopping at the mall. Have you ever been to Forever 41?
Forever 41.
Norm, you're dressing like you're going to help somebody move. You're wearing sweatpants to the biggest show in YouTube history.
This is the biggest show on the internet.
You dress like you're going to paint the set.
He can't help himself. I gotta ask you this though. Hey, I saw, by the way, on the computer, a show you do now called Morning Roast. Unbelievable. You wake up in the morning, you turn on your computer, there's Jeff Ross waking up himself, roasting somebody. How's that work?
Well, whatever comes to my hungover head, I just start making fun of, and
Yeah.
I put it up on my YouTube page.
God damn, it's funny.
Who should I roast this week?
What about Cassim?
Yeah, it would be an honor if you could just do me.
He's an Arab, if that helps.
I only roast celebrities, Cassim, so you're off the hook.
Thank you.
What do you dress like? You're like Harry Potter's accountant.
You just not that up.
Well, I want to thank Jeff Ross for turning the mirror on me today. Back to you guys over there.
Like the inventor of a cure of some disease we haven't thought of yet. Look at you, like Orville Redenbacher's fluffer. I don't know. This is fun.
Good. Thank you.
Of course, Bob Saget directed Norm Macdonald's movie Dirty Work. Yeah. A move that transformed Norm Macdonald into a star, Buck's employee.
Did you say something after Star?
Norm Macdonald's so stoned he thinks he's at a roast for Bob Seger. I love you, Norm. Wow, you never come out, Norm. You're like the J.D. Salinger of dick jokes. What's the over-under tonight? What's going to happen, Norm?
No, I wanted to read something funny, so I'm reading Marmaduke.
Oh, my God. This is what happens when you book a dais off Craigslist.
Saget roast where he was told not to work blue, and so he was told to tone it down, and then he went the completely other way. Is that what happened?
I had not heard that he was told to turn it down.
Right.
I thought he made.
You was told to turn it up?
I thought he made the choice to go so soft that was the joke. Because Saget's roast was one of the few roasts where it was mostly comics, mostly body comics, and at that point, Saget was really digging into that stuff.
Right.
The Aristocrats movie had just come out. Bob was having this resurgence as Dirty Daddy, and really a contrast from his Full House persona. And we were all went in really deep. And I purposely wrote my speech without one curse word, just to make a point that you didn't have to be funny to be dirty.
Right.
And that was my spin on it. Norm took it one step further and did Farmer's Almanac type jokes. That were, like, hey, Cloris Leachman, people say you're over the hill, but don't listen to them. You'll never be over the hill. Not with that car you drive. And we looked at him like, is he having a stroke? But I already knew Norm will always go for the best joke, the way he would on SNL, the way he would on late night shows. Publicists be damned, he wanted to have the most provocative joke that the comics would talk about the next day. But on this show, he did a conceptual piece to throw softballs around the dais in an affectionate sort of way. And you can see when you listen back, the first few jokes, people are kind of polite laughs, nervous laughs. I'm a producer. I'm almost panicking.
Right, yes.
Like what, is he tanking this on purpose? We already had Artie Lang not show up. We don't want this to be a disaster. But about 5 jokes in, I can start giggling. I start to sense that something's happening. And they buy it. The audience, by the end, they're roaring as if he was Andrew Dice Clay, but doing these very soft jokes. And I think it was a nice denouement, or a nice chapter from his post-SNL where he was provocative and pushed the envelope, especially with his OJ jokes.
When did you first meet him, Norm Macdonald? Jeffrey?
Oh, man. I met him. It was probably 90 or 91. I was just transitioning from open micer in New Jersey to opening MC act in comedy clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, Rich, I was excited. Catch a Rising Star Princeton. There's like 8 shows over 5 days or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was really going to, get some stage time. And Rich Voss, a very funny guy, was the middle act. None of us knew each other. And Norm Macdonald flew in from Toronto. He had just done a bunch of, was it Sajax or something, who had the late night show? Or was it...
yeah, he did for a while. He did. Yeah.
I think it was Sajax. And he hit on that show and became like, he was popping, but no one in America really knew him.
Right.
And Norm this is 91, that type. This is when America, especially in New Jersey, most people wanted to see Andrew Dice Clay in an arena doing nursery rhymes. Now Norm comes in with this button-down shirt, the blazer, and hey, like you couldn't barely understand him, and his material was tight, and callbacks and crafted and honed and economical use of the language. Like it was fascinating for a comedian. But if you were just a couple of knuckleheads with your dates to catch Princeton, that you're used to seeing hickory dickory dock.
Yes. Yes.
He didn't bomb. He didn't hit all the time. He bombed probably 3 out of the 8 shows. And this is one of the craziest things, and I've never seen it before, Rich. After the shows, as people were paying their checks, Norm would go to the exit and greet every single customer as they left.
Come on.
The more he bombed, the longer he stayed there. And it was so hilarious, and it made him a mystery to me, an enigma to me right away, why he loved that part of it. And if he killed, he'd go right out the back to the green room and break out a deck of cards, and we'd play poker. He'd love to play poker. So my first experiences with him were very, very all in, we should say.
So he'd invite me over to SNL once in a while to play poker on off nights, on Monday nights or something. And to watch him play poker while watching Monday Night Football and a baseball game, like he was a gambler.
Right.
And I guess somehow one time I found myself on a tape night on a live SNL. I'm in the hallway. I believe Rosie O'Donnell was hosting SNL, and her very best friend, Penny Marshall, was there to support her. Penny Marshall, at the height of her movie director swag, is walking through the hallway with her head down, sunglasses on, baseball hat, doesn't want to be bothered, treating all these basically writers and NBC employees and me and Norm as big timing us, pretending we're just looky-loos out on the street, right? Just doing a celebrity don't bother me moment. Flyby, thank you. And Norm picks up on it, and he just starts pointing and screaming, Laverne! 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 And she didn't look up. She never knew it was Norm. She was just gone.
Oh, my gosh.
But I do it all the time, I guess, just going through Norm montages on YouTube. He's just such a prolific joke writer. Like just so many jokes that like these Norm montages that just pop up. 30 minutes of Norm here, an hour of Norm there. It's like you just sit there watching the whole thing.
He had an amazing ability too. We were just watching that Jon Stewart Crocodile Hunter clip.
I wanted to talk about the Crocodile Hunter because I think it was tragic at the time, but I think I don't know, people call them and then they're shocked. Oh, hey, you wouldn't believe it. Who got killed? The Crocodile Hunter. Please don't make me laugh at this. And they were like, he was 44 years old. I'm like, that's a ripe old age for a crocodile hunter.
He was really conversationally funny. Like the joke didn't have to end until he seemed to want it to end.
Yes.
Like he just kept, like, it was funny too. And I was watching thinking the balls to do that. Like Jon Stewart is like, okay, like, because he's laughing, but he's like, all right, he was only 90. And Norm's like, hey, Bill. And he's just he's still doing the characters. Like he's not ready for it to be finished.
Yeah. He didn't care about getting the laugh in the room sometimes, especially on those TV shows. Obviously on stage, but like in the room, he didn't necessarily care if people weren't going with him. That's the way he always was. I mean, if you go back to those Weekend Update montages of Frank Stallone jokes, like some of them land real hard, but some of them don't land at all.
According to the EPA, it will cost an estimated $295 million to clean up toxic waste at the former Lockheed Martin military aircraft plant in California. The cause of the toxic waste? You guessed it, Frank Stallone. In economic news, unemployment figures rose slightly for the month of October, with declines in the Dow Jones and NASDAQ. The reason for the sudden downturn? You guessed it, Frank Stallone.
And you could clearly see on his face, like, all these jokes are just for him.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He didn't care. And they're hilarious. Like, I don't know exactly when the bit is from, but it seems like he probably wrote the bit right around when he first got the diagnosis, because, like, this, I didn't even know the bit existed, to tell you the truth. But people were passing it around yesterday of him talking about how men used to be able to just get sick and die, and now they have to wage a war against cancer.
Yeah.
And it's like, he probably wrote that.
That was 2001 or 2011. So yeah, probably
As he got diagnosed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure if the cancer dies, I mean, if you die, the cancer also dies at exactly the same time. So that, to me, is not a loss, that's a draw. That's a, you know what I mean? It's not like the cancer's going to jump up and go, Uncle Bert's wife. Where is he? I won fair and square.
The cancer died at the same time. That's not a loss. That's a draw.
He would go on these talk shows and do, like, old man jokes.
Yeah.
And they were long. Like when he went on Conan O'Brien and did the moth joke.
Yeah.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office. Right?
You are correct.
And it took 4 minutes to get there, and the punchline is it's a joke punchline. But he liked it. He just loved the joke so much that he was getting through it, and he gets there, and it's like, it's worth it.
And so the doctor says, Moth, man, you're troubled. But you should be seeing a psychiatrist. Why on earth did you come here? And then the moth said, because the light was on.
The ability to do that and to not panic and to not bail out and to commit to it and go, this is what I'm doing and that's it.
I found, as I was looking at clips, it seemed like his 3 favorite topics on Weekend Update were OJ, obviously Frank Stallone, and Vince Foster, and making jokes about Clinton murdering Vince Foster.
And veteran news anchorman David Brinkley apologized to Bill Clinton for an election night commentary in which he called the president, quote, boring and uncreative. Admitted Brinkley, there was certainly nothing uncreative about the way you moved Vince Foster's body. President's a murderer. You didn't know that?
Here's another OJ joke from Weekend Update.
In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you.
Relentless.
Yeah, it really is. The beauty of Norm is there is nothing underlying. It's just about the joke.
It's just about being funny.
You know, that's it. What's the funniest thing for this moment?
Yep.
This is what it is.
He hated what was going on in comedy as far as people being punished. And I mean, he really hated it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one time that he actually started to get in trouble was because he was defending Louis and he was defending Roseanne.
And Shane.
And he defended Shane. Yep.
Big
big time defender of Shane. Because he got it. Because he's like, we're telling jokes here. What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, he was really furious about that. Yeah, it's terrible. Just terrible.
He spent a lot of time being funny, though.
Oh, fucking hilarious.
He put a lot of funny out there.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody with a similar delivery or a similar it's completely unique. He's a completely unique thinker and just a completely unique joke teller, joke writer.
If you try to do a Norm joke, it's like it's not funny when anybody else does it, and it's because they're not. I mean, he's a genius.
It's natural.
Yes,
it's completely natural. It's completely. You don't watch it for a second thinking this is not who this guy is. You watch it and go, this is completely natural for him to tell a joke this way or to talk this way. That's why he could end a joke when he wanted to, because he seemed so comfortable and natural that all right, whenever he says it's done, it's done.
You were with him you were on the dais for the Bob Saget roast
of
Comedy Central.
Yep.
And that's one of those instances where, of course, it's like, oh, I can't wait. Norm's going to be so outrageous. Norm's just going to say stuff that you could never say on TV. And then he gets up there
hilarious.
And he just does
old man
jokes.
No, but Bob has a beautiful face like a flower. Yeah, cauliflower. No offense, but your face looks like a cauliflower.
Yeah, I believe his joke about you was that you're a very colorful person. Because you have a yellow belly and you're green with envy. And that was it. Like, there was no follow. It's like, that's the joke.
And Jim Norton of here is, of course, probably one of the most colorful characters I've ever met. Colorful personalities I know. You're green with envy and you have a yellow streak down your back.
One of his jokes about Geraldo was like, I'd love to have Geraldo's brain. Not because he's smart, but because it's very unused. Thanks.
But if I ever need a brain transplant, why, I would choose yours, Greg, and here's why. It's not because you're smart, it's because your brain has never been used. No, but Greg Giraldo, I'm just joking him. He has the grace of a swan, the wisdom of an owl, and the eye of an eagle. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is for the birds.
Man's for the birds.
I was sitting there like all day yesterday, just stopping. Jess is like taking care of the kids, and I'm like, Jess, there's another Norm joke. Because I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm like, all right, Jess, this was another one of Norm's jokes. This is from Weekend Update, like in the 90s. All summer, Better Than Ezra was the #1 band in America. The #2 band, Ezra.
And in music news, #1 on the college charts this summer was Better Than Ezra. And at #2, Ezra. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor,
You see a bunch of clips were going around. You see the clip of him on The View from like really early on. It was from like 2000. It was when the View was at its early stages.
No, I don't think so.
It's fucking great. I think I tweeted it, Travis, if that's the quickest way. I don't know. To find just the clip. Yeah, that's it.
See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Oh.
Who's the murderers?
Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
You're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little too far.
That's the way it does work.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
No, we don't need
I
to
don't want
talk
to get
about
into this,
that.
and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question.
So get with it. There you go.
See right there? Like, no, he's not angry about it.
No.
Like, he doesn't, like, what great instincts, man. Like, not mad. Like, what? He's just having a great time. He always looked like he was having a great time.
Like he's almost too dumb to realize what did I say? I thought we were all
just having fun.
What? You didn't know? He's like, you didn't hear that?
And the wind finally dies down, and he goes, "What? You didn't hear that?"
Listen how he follows it up.
This is a live show. Why?
Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm now going to ask the next question.
I thought it was a matter of record.
Let me do this.
There are people that after they got invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, they'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I can get in with the Clintons now.
Right.
Maybe I can meet these powerful friends. Maybe I can... 2.5 years after the Correspondents' Dinner, he's going on The View and making jokes.
Clinton murdered somebody.
He murdered a guy.
Doesn't care. I thought it was a matter of record.
He thought Barbara's problem was that Barbara hadn't...
Yeah.
You didn't hear?
Yeah,
You didn't know?
that she was ignorant, and he was just bringing her up to speed.
Just informing her. Did you see the clip that was going around of him on Conan O'Brien with Courtney Thorne-Smith?
I don't know.
I feel like this Courtney Thorne-Smith clip is somewhat similar to the Patrice Fox News clip.
This is just what she has to say. We are outraged and fired and
he's a
fired
fool. He's an
and
absolute
fired.
fool.
Name calling. I'm outraged.
Fool.
I am outraged.
You should be.
I am a fool. Now, if I called you a fool,
In the sense that this just has become one of those legendary, like, this is the example of why you would have this guy on your talk show and why he doesn't care. Courtney Thorne-Smith is on Conan O'Brien with Norm. Norm was the first guest. Right. And he, unfortunately for her,
decided to stick around.
He stuck around on the couch for her interview, yes, and she's trying to promote her movie.
Who is she?
But what's the movie going to be called?
Well,
Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
She's there.
There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
His face after he does it.
He's delighted. Again, just perfect timing.
Yeah, that's the other thing you don't want to do, right? Is like just say Norm jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to like, yeah.
Although it's funny. He's one of those guys where just saying his jokes, they are well written enough where it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the appeal too. That like, especially some of his jokes, you can just take and like.
Do you know that you are a cis male? Have you ever heard of that term?
A cis male?
Cis male. C-Y-S-M-A-L-E. So what it means is that you are a man. You're born a man.
Well, as far as you know.
As far as I know. And you identify yourself as a man.
Yes.
That's a cis male.
Now, I don't understand. Where does that... Is this a new phrase?
Yes, it's a way of marginalizing a normal person. Some people really dislike that term cis male because a cis male, as you explained, is a male who identifies himself as a male, and they say, well, that's you shouldn't marginalize a person.
You need to be marginalized.
Is that
you
part
need to,
of it?
yeah. You need
Is
to
it
be
part of it that
marginalized.
we're
It's a
all
way to
marginalized?
identify somebody who was basically, born, lives, and it's the same sex.
So you're a cis male,
What does a cis male mean?
This other person's a trans. So you're equal. She's a man that thinks she's a woman. You're a man that thinks you're a man. It's completely
so everyone's.
equal.
It's all fluid.
Yes, everyone is self-identifying.
Yes.
I am firmly on the side of womanhood now, but I am not a woman. nor will I ever be. 3 sentences later. I use the women's restroom because I am a woman. I changed my gender on my birth certificate to female because I am a woman. So there's a little confusion there, right?
Not for me. What's wrong with that?
Well, here it says, I am not a woman. When I was a kid, my dad would tell me that this man was a gold medal decathlete. Why, the greatest athlete in the world. And now I have to tell my kid that this man is a man. What the H? A guy told me that, I don't know if you've heard this, Bruce Jenner is going to go back maybe to being a man. Yeah. Did you hear that? That's an odd thing. Because I remember him, of course, as a woman. So it's hard for me to picture what he'd even look like as a man. I remember, because I'm from Canada, so I remember he was in the 72 Olympics, and he won the decathlon, you know, which is the best athlete in the world, was a woman. And we didn't know at the time because he kept it secret. But I remember they put the gold medal around his fucking big juicy tits. And that to me is when he should have just gone, I'm a lady, and then that would have been good for the LGBTG. The community, you know, the community. I don't know if you've been over and seen them and shit, but it's a nice community. And it would have been good. All the LGBTBL. I try to be inclusive of all the letters in the alphabet. But, you know, then he waited. That's the problem. He waited till he was 65. That's when Bruce Jenner decided to tell us he was a lady. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, is there really that much difference between a 65-year-old? Yeah, at some point, you got to realize you're just some old thing nobody wants to fuck.
And come to think of it, I got addicted to you. Oh, no, no, no. And come to think of it, I need somebody like you. Oh, no, no, no. I need someone like you.
All right, a Las Vegas woman was arrested after hiding a stolen Rolex in her vagina. Well, now Bruce Jenner's just gone too far.
I don't understand it.
A clip that we found on the internet where some 17-year-olds, I think, spotted you on a plane. Norm MacDonald, our hero, and they send you a note on a barf bag. Here's the flight attendant supposedly giving you the note.
Have you ever seen this?
Have you seen this?
No.
Is this you? Does this seem to be you?
That's me. What? Where's this? What?
This was on a plane.
1 hour later.
That's bizarre.
And then these kids were told it's probably not a good idea in this day and age on an airplane to send notes on barf bags.
Oh, I remember this, Brian. Where's Brian? I remember somebody. I remember this. Yeah, because they sent me someone came to me, a stewardess, and said, "Do you know this person? And what's this note mean?" Because I know they had sent a note because I played Death on Family Guy. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and they sent me a note saying, "Hey, it's good to have death on the plane or something."
Oh, no! Not the thing you want to write.
Yeah.
And then they got in trouble. So, yeah, that must be what that is. Yeah, I went on the airplane, you know, and I'm getting recognized now, you know?
That's great.
Not as much as a real famous guy, but like halfway between like a real famous guy and a guy that's not famous at all.
Yeah, that would make sense. Sure.
So, when I was flying in, a weird thing happened. Like, I sat down on the plane. You know how they get you to sit beside a stranger, another guy, you know? Right. So I'm sitting beside this guy, and the guy goes, hey, man, I really like you on the show on Saturday Night Live, Bob. He calls me Bob. And so I go, hey, thanks a lot, you know? And he goes, yeah, I like when you do Dole, you know, Bob, you know? And I go, thanks, you know? And I figure, what the hell, Bob? That's a name like any other, you know?
Good name, fine.
Yeah, it's all right. So I go, I'll just go along with the guy. So he keeps calling me Bob and everything. And then this other character, later on in the flight, about 2 hours into the flight, he comes out of the bathroom, you know? He was in the bathroom.
Yeah, right.
So he comes out, and he's walking down. Suddenly he sees me, you know, he recognizes me. And he goes, hey, he goes, you're that guy from Saturday Night Live, right? And I go, yeah. And he goes, what's your name? What's your name? And I go, it's Bob. My name is Bob, right? So then the guy goes, yeah, Bob. He goes, Bob what? What's your last name? So then I was going to say McDonald, Bob McDonald. I thought maybe it'll like trigger something in the guy's mind, you know, and he'll remember my actual name. Right. Maybe by saying Bob McDonald, he'll go, no, it's Norm MacDonald, right?
Yeah, well, sure.
And then the other guy will go, what? What? I thought you were Bob, right? So I'm thinking quick, you know, this is all going on in my head quick.
Snap, yeah.
So I immediately realized I can't say McDonald, so I'm trying to think of another name. I have to say, you can't wait like 5 minutes, you know? right. You can't ponder it, go, what's my last name? Wow. That's an interesting question. You have to immediately say something. So I said, Bob Kendall. Like that? Because I used to have a teacher, Mr. Kendall.
Right. Oh, very clever. Yeah. Very clever.
So I said, Bob Kendall. So then the guy goes, yeah, Bob Kendall. Yeah, Bob Kendall. Made like a face like that.
One minute we hug, next minute we barely even hold conversations fine with me. I was born a savage, I can take the damage. Anything I do.
I hung out with him twice accidentally on 2 separate occasions.
The
we were
airplane.
on planes. I told you about it, right?
I heard they are the one of them, and he was smoking.
Yeah,
that's
smoking
hilarious.
As soon as he landed, he was talking about how great it was to quit smoking. As soon as he landed, he ran into the gift shop and bought cigarettes and was lighting them before he was on his way out the door. I go, I thought you quit. He goes, I did. Talking about it. I wanted to smoke.
Yeah, he just does what he wants.
But
it feels
randomly, on 2 occasions, I just was sitting next to him on a plane.
Some of my strongest material comes from real life.
Real life?
Like, for instance, today I was driving in a car.
Mm-hmm.
You were kind enough to bring a car to bring this old chunk of coal here to the studio.
We send cards for our guests, yes.
Yeah, so I got in it, and I get material that way. So my driver...
What do you mean? How do you get material that way? You get in the car, and what happens?
My driver tells me a joke.
Guy goes into a dentist's office. Yeah. Dentist said, what are you doing here? He said, I think I'm a moth.
A moth?
A moth. He said, what? I think I'm a moth. He said, well, you have mental problems. You need to go see a psychiatrist. He said, I know. He said, you're in a dentist's office. He said, I know. He said, what are you doing here? Why did you come here? He said, the light was on.
That's a good joke.
It's a great one.
And you're going to tell it now on the show?
Yeah, that's how I get a lot of my material.
Okay. Why don't we just have him on next time?
That guy. No, wait till you hear me do it. So the guy, he goes, I say, I'll be the guy.
Okay.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office, all right.
You are correct. When I came to Hollywood, Andy was a good friend to me.
Oh, he was nice to you when you first came here?
He was absolutely. We had nothing, you know. We were just starting out. I was working at Artie's Deli coffee shop. Bussing tables, you know, and stuff like that. And he was always there to help me and stuff. He was the first guy I actually met. He was he had some pylon on the TV and stuff, and he was really so sweet to me, you know. And he said, I want to invite you over to a Hollywood party. No, I was just a farm boy from Canada, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Canada, yeah. And a big nation up to the north.
Sure, yes. Powerful nation. Lovely people.
So I said, wow, here's my, Andy Richter's going to show me, I'm going to go to a Hollywood party. How exciting, So he said, yeah, he said, it's going to be a pretty wild party. I'm not used to wild parties. I said, what is a wild party there? I don't get out much. He says, oh, he's like a little drinking, a little fighting, a little fornicating, I said, wow, man, that sounds pretty good. I said, what time should I show up? He goes, anytime, it's just the two of us. Now,
He said, welcome to the neighborhood. I know it's not exactly a neighborhood. I live 40 miles from here. But if you're interested, tomorrow night, I'm throwing a welcome to the neighborhood bash. There's going to be a lot of barbecue, some drinking, some dancing, and some wild sex. Would you like to come? And Morty said, sure, but what should I wear? The cowboy said, it doesn't make any difference. It's just going to be the two of us.
I love my mother, She lives right beside me here. She's great. I don't think my mother has ever spoken a word that had any irony in it. You know what I mean? Like, she's just earnest. She's just happy. She knows how to love. She doesn't judge,
Oh, he definitely wanted to. I'm sorry, Molly.
No, you go, Adam.
I was just going to say he definitely wanted to make the point he loves his mom.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's a
Because it was like a
tearjerker, funny.
moment where you just have this glimpse where he takes a pause and he's like, she's great.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, she'll go sometimes to the grocery store and come back. The other day, she did this. She come back, she said, oh, man, funny thing happened in the grocery store. I said, what happened, Mom? She said, a woman came in and bought a grapefruit, and it cost $1.69, and last week, it cost $1.19. And then I said, well, that's not a story, let alone a funny story. I don't even think that would be considered a story. Think about that unconscious, subconscious thing, because I remember my buddy one time, he's in psychology, he went to college, this guy, and I love milk, right? So we were eating a meal one time, and so I take a drink of milk, and my friend goes, you know why you're drinking that milk, right, Norm? And I say to him, it's not because I like milk, I know that. Because I know this guy, So he goes, no, it's not. He goes, the reason you're drinking that milk is because you miss sucking on your mother's breast. I'm like, ah. Now, you guys don't know my mother. But she's wonderful. She's a saint. You know how people, say their mothers are saints? My mother is actually a saint. So, I mean, she hasn't performed 2 miracles, right? I guess she's not actually a saint, but she's much more saint-like than your fucking mother. That's what I'm saying. But there was a generation, like my mother's 85, there was a generation of women that you all know. Maybe it was your mother, maybe it was your grandmother. But they lived at a time, and I support you, me too, you too. More than anything, because, for the young girls, it's going to be fantastic. But no one like my mother will ever exist again. And it's just this generation of women that were so, selfless, and like my mother would be, the type of woman, like at dinner time, everyone's eating, and she's in the kitchen, and everybody have a second, are you sure? And then, oh, but the turnips, and wanted to make sure everybody got, and then she would, whatever was left, she would make a little plate for herself, and that's what my mother was like. Still is like. She lives right beside me. Her eyes shine love. I've never heard her say a phrase that had any irony flecked in. She just and so happy. Like, she'll come back to the grocery store. She'll go, Norm, the funniest thing happened in the store. I say, what happened, Mom? She says, there was a woman buying pineapple. It was $1.69 last week, and this week it was $1.19. I'm like, that's not a story, old bag. What the fuck? Like a story. I don't say that, but But I would trade places with my mother in a second because all she knows is love. You know how to love people. That's hard, man. That's hard. Man, I forgot why you brought that up. Oh, I remember. I don't want to suck her tits. So maybe I'm shallow. I want to suck my mother's tits, all right? So anyways, I'm having this discussion with this guy at the fucking restaurant, and now, after he tells me this, the milk is still there. And what the fuck am I gonna do? Guzzle it? Milk, you know, I can't just leave it there. It was the worst. Whatever. Oh, and then it came time to order our entrees. You know what this guy gets? 2 meatballs and a banana. I'm like, hey! Wait, wasn't even on the menu. Like he had to. What's good for the goose is this is just absolutely. I read about that subconscious, unconscious. They said when you pick a president, this is an election year. This is kind of some word. Apropos. You ever say a word, you go, I hope this is what it means.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I was a bro. Get apart by you.
I'm here with my son Norman, and we're going to tell you some jokes about President's Day. What do we call George Washington's false teeth? His presidentures. What U.S. president has long legs, a black beard, and an unusual smell? Abraham Stinker.
Today I went to the board to be examined. The opinions were divided. They debated and debated and finally decided that I am not mad. But that is only because I used every ounce of my strength not to speak out. I did not speak out because I am afraid of the madhouse. I am afraid that they will not let me do my mad deed.
What would George Washington be if he was alive today? Really, really old. How many of Trump's senior presidential aides do you need to make a light bulb? None. They're meant to keep them in the dark.
They declared that I was prone to certain sorts of affectations and such, but that still I was in my right mind. As for myself, I know that I am mad.
What would you have if you crossed a vegetable with the first president? George Washington.
The doctor prescribed me something and told me that if I followed it strictly, that I would not be troubled anymore. Oh, what I would do not to be troubled anymore. It is too tormenting. But I will tell you, in due order, how I came to be examined, how I lost my mind, and why my madness betrayed me.
Happy President's Day.
Hey everybody, This week, a New Jersey woman, Rita Glusman, was charged with hacking her husband to death with an axe, cutting the body into pieces, and having a cousin dump them in a river. According to police, Glusman learned how to do this by watching the program Martha Stewart Living. This week, CBS aired the Martha Stewart Christmas special, in which she demonstrated that with an old soup can, some used tea bags, some string, and some sparkles, you can make a useless piece of crap. Martha Stewart is here, and she wanted me to tell you, don't let the busboys clear your table off tonight, because a little later Martha will come up here, and she's going to show us how to take those old discarded fish bones and make a beautiful birdhouse. So... That's nice.
Have a joke? Tell the joke.
No,
because
it's a 50-50 chance it's not going to go well.
No, it's a 50-50 chance that they're
It's not
going
to
look
like a penis.
Yeah.
It's like a Star Wars thing. Yeah. I guess you're right.
Read a joke.
All right,
you haven't read one joke.
Before we begin, I have a quick public service announcement. Would somebody, anybody, please Martha Stewart?
Oh, I got that one.
What?
I don't understand that.
What?
That's weird, right?
Too soon.
It's meta.
Well, the holidays are just around the corner, and here with tips on how to make this Christmas truly special is nationally known authority on style, Martha Stewart. Martha?
Thank you. I think for each of us, childhood memories of Christmas are something unique and personal. My own memories center around the big Victorian home where I grew up. Early each Christmas morning, the other children and I would awake to the unmistakable smells of baked cinnamon apples, mulled cider, and mince pudding wafting from the kitchen. In an instant, we children would come bounding down the great staircase, our arms and legs all akimbo.
Akimbo?
Yes, akimbo. And our childish eyes as big as saucers, eager to spy what good things Kris Kringle had brought.
Hold on a second there, Martha. Kris Kringle?
Yes, Norm, you know, Père Noël, Father Christmas, good Saint Nick.
You mean Santa Claus?
Oh, you called him Santa Claus. Anyway, it being Christmas, Mater and Pater had dismissed the staff.
Wait a minute. Mater and Pater?
Yes, it's our parents, that's what we called them.
Where did you grow up?
Norm, that doesn't matter. You see, Christmas is the same throughout the world.
No, I'm just curious. Where?
New Jersey. Anyway, there we children stood, staring in awe at what we were sure was the largest Christmas tree ever, festooned with candy canes, lemon sticks, and rosebuds on a string. And there, hanging in the mantel of the enormous fireplace, were all the children's stockings, filled to overflowing with walnuts, pecans, candied plums, dried figs, and spiced oranges.
Now, we're in New Jersey.
Nutley, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I know Nutley. Yeah, that's off Exit 7, Route 3, off the Jersey Turnpike.
Yes. And then it always seemed just as we were about to open our gifts, the neighbors would come by wassailing. Here we come a-wassailing, they'd shout. Good wassail to you, we'd reply.
Wassailing? Never mind, go on.
No, Norm, I think I'd better stop right here. You seem to think I'm making this up.
All right, suit yourself. But hey, if you run into any of my friends from Jersey wassailing, you give them my best, huh?
I'll do that, Norm.
All right, Martha Stewart there, everybody. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a Labor Department study shows that the number of temporary workers rose to 2 million in 1994. And that study doesn't even include the most temporary of the temporarily unemployed, Cato Kalin. Yesterday on Rivera Live, Kato Kaelin made the startling admission that he now thinks O.J. Simpson is guilty, although authorities suspect this may just be part of an attempt by Kato to crash at Fred Goldman's place for a while. As the jury's decision was announced, Nicole Brown's sister Denise Brown told reporters, quote, "I feel ecstatic," while Johnny Cochran said, quote, "I accept the verdict and now we must move on." Meanwhile, Kato Kaelin said, quote, "Please, God, don't let it be over." Wednesday on CBS's This Morning program, correspondent Eleanor Mondale went toy shopping with Kato Kaelin. According to producers, it was part of a new segment on the show called Let's Punish the Audience.
Hey, how about Norm's friend in the companion seat right now, Kato Kaelin? Remember Kato? There he is. How long have you known Kato?
Kato, I know him about 15 years.
How did you meet Kato?
He lives in his house.
Kato,
Norm actually
Kato.
crashes on my couch.
Yeah. Kato, you got to get your own place.
Got it, Alan. Got it.
How did you meet Norm?
Actually, through sports many years ago.
Up in Canada?
Tennis and golf.
Didn't know you
I've
played.
been around for a while there, Regis. Yeah.
Didn't know you played tennis and golf.
Oh, yeah,
so-
yeah.
Good.
As a matter of fact, my charity today is the Palm Beach Tennis and Golf Resort.
Oh, actually, Norm's kidding. It's the Hole in the Wall gang, right?
Yeah, it's the Hole in the Wall gang camp that Paul Newman started, and it's real good for kids to go to that camp that are sick, you know.
That's nice. That's good.
Make a lot of money.
Kato's very happy for you.
Kato's a good man.
Because Joy has her hand on my lap.
Joy has her hand in Kato's lap. All right. Dynamite so far. Kato's very proud of you.
He's a good man.
$300.
By the way, Kato and I, I like the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
You and Kato like to...
He's just a guy I know. That's all I'm trying to say.
We all have our own thoughts about that.
I can't believe you were bullied by Norm Macdonald.
Why don't you believe that?
Because Norm is just like the unicorn. Like nobody really has conversations with Norm, let alone.
He would kind of, well, he would.
I'm going to kick your ass, Fred.
No, not threaten to beat me
Me and
up.
Billy Joe Shaver.
not threaten to beat me up, but just kind of like
teasing you a lot.
I know you're at the end, but him and Kato were friends, and they would just be
him
assholes.
and who?
Kato Kaelin, the biggest piece of shit.
So Kato
you didn't watch the
Kaelin?
Hilardi thing. We talked about it.
No,
yeah.
I didn't. I fell asleep. It was on late. That's not because you were boring. I mean,
him and Norm were best friends. He was Norm's lifeline.
Hey, Kato Kaelin.
They were friends.
So
and they would
Kato
play
Kaelin
tennis.
would heckle you too?
Well, we one time me, Kato, and Norm played tennis, and I got a flat tire, and they were driving, laughing at me because I was on the side of the road. And Kato would kiss up to Norm,
but they didn't stop to help you with your.
No,
flat tire.
they stuck their heads out the window, and were laughing as they drove by.
What jerks!
Yeah,
you should go on Norm's podcast.
Well, I did.
Oh, you did already?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
well, you don't need my help at all, do you?
No. Yeah, and
was it fun? Did you bring up the fact that he bullied you?
Or
were you afraid because he was a bully?
I was a little afraid that I'd get busted, and about the book. But he goes, I don't care. Norm didn't care. Yeah, I go, I said, Norm, I have to be honest. You're in the book, and I said something. He goes, I don't care.
Sam, who was Norm's best friend the second season of the Norm Show?
Kato Kaelin. You're kidding.
I spent an entire year with Kato Kaelin. I know stuff about Kato Kaelin. Norm, Kato befriended Norm. I can't get into this whole thing. But, so we do, the Norm Show was 2 seasons, all right?
Right.
And we shoot the first season of The Shit's Picked Up. In the meantime, Norm is living in L.A. So I get back to, you got to be back on the set like August 1st or something. So I start moving back out there like July 28th. And this girl, Lori Jo, who Sam's talking about, and maybe even Sam might have called me up and said, Norm wants, to play a big poker game tonight at Norm's, which we used to do all the time. He's come by. He goes, oh, wait, you're going to meet Norm's new best friend. I'm like, who's that? She goes, you'll see. I walk in, and it's Norm and these guys we used to play poker with, and Norm's crazy ex-assistant, this kid, Danny Wilson. And Kato Kalin. One of the main characters in the biggest trial of the century.
Ralph is the Kato Kalin. I mean, Ralph.
It's amazing the parallel.
It's a type of guy. It's like
he's the poor man's Kato.
No, I mean, yeah.
Poor man, you're rich.
You got more money than OJ.
No, Ralph's the poor man's Kato Kalin.
But can I just say something about Ralph? There's such a level of entitlement. He always says, I don't feel entitled. But, like, he'll go to Sam's house, and you would think being in the guest house and having access to servants or whatever would be enough. He was out there one time, a couple times ago, and if I have the cars wrong, tell me, Sam, but I guess the Bentley was parked in front and the Mercedes was parked behind, and Sam left the keys to the Mercedes for Ralph so Ralph could go around and do what he wanted. And somehow Ralph talked the help into giving him the keys and moving it so he could drive the Bentley.
But you got it.
Like the Mercedes wasn't enough, the Bentley was what he needed to be.
These guys are great at doing it, and LA's filled with them. Now, well, Kato did that whole season, like, systematically. By week 15, Kato was on the show.
Yeah.
Kato got onto the Norm show.
Kato's looking for a job out of it.
He had
he gets kind of passed around too because there was a writer producer Kevin Curran. I think he's on The Simpsons now.
Yeah.
He used to be on Married with Children, and the first time I met Kato was after the OJ trial, and he was hanging out with Kevin Curran.
But he was like in my life. Like, I would go to work, and Kato would be, whether he had to work or not, he was at rehearsal.
And what did Norm get out of it?
Well,
Like,
Norm just said, hey, look, he's a good guy. And, like, we would all go, like, I don't know what's... So Norm got so friendly with him that every once in a while we go to this tennis club by Warner Brothers.
All right.
And we play doubles tennis. And Norm and Kato always had to be a team. It became, like, the 4th fucking grade. So me and one of the other writers would always play Norm and Kato in tennis. And I would tell the writer, I said, listen, if we lose to these motherfuckers, I'm gonna tear Kato's head off. Because if they got a point, and Norm is so competitive, you want to strangle him.
Right.
If they got a point, man, Kato would go like, Howie. And you just feel like going, you murdering fuck, you killed a woman, you helped kill a woman. Like,
Kato didn't have anything to do with murdering a woman.
Well, I felt like saying that to him.
Oh.
But he would make you livid and red with anger, and like Norm and him were just the best of buddies for a year, like he had his...
And what happens that the relationship
They had
ends?
a falling out somehow.
Oh, really?
Of course.
The Norm show got canceled. I came back here. I started here, and eventually I heard they had a falling out. But it's weird.
I think Kato was Norm's phone a friend on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Get out of here.
So when they were playing tennis together, they always had to be like a doubles partner?
Oh, my God, how
Like, it became like a
And
thing.
you could see how insidious it was. And me and this other kid who we'd play with, like, we used to beat him most of the time, thank God. But
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah, if we lost...
Well, he gets so... Norm is the most...
We got thrown out of the club. There was an incident with David Hyde Pierce. What?
David Hyde Pierce, what a group.
Next to the Warner Brothers lot, there's like this tennis club, and it's like an exclusive club, and it was like Caddyshack. Me and Norm would walk over in corduroys and just say we want a court, and the guys there were like star fuckers. They give Norm a court. He had a show on ABC, so we walk on, and David Hyde Pierce would be there, and he had like an instructor.
He'd be in his tennis whites.
Tennis sweaters tied around his neck. And me and Norm, like, if I lost a point to Kato Kalin, I'd go, fuck, cunt, fuck, and I'd throw the racket, and David Hyde Pierce would get all scared.
What's this?
Yeah, like, he was scared. And Norm would, like, abuse him about maybe being gay, like, all this shit.
My
like, and finally, Hyde Pierce complained and got us thrown out. We got walked out of the club. Me, Norm, Kato Kalin, and this writer, we got walked out of the club, because David Hyde Pierce was looking at us like, all red-faced, like, yeah, get out of here.
Fuckers.
Yeah, fuckers. But Kato and Ralph has a lot of those. Like when I'm hearing this, I saw it firsthand, and I'm saying, my God, he's doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, that's wild.
I want to address myself as best as I know how to those that I have wronged, that I have sinned against. I have sinned against you, my Lord, and I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness never to be remembered against me.
Norm and I were hanging out in his office one day playing a game where he had words and you had to do an impression of somebody saying the same sentence. And he did Burt Reynolds doing it. And we go, oh, well, there we go. So how can we get Burt Reynolds on TV?
And then one time I was talking to Burt Reynolds and he said he wanted to come on the show while I was doing Celebrity Jeopardy and then punch me in the face and take over. And then he'd be even stupider. But then I got fired, so he couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
The sketch that you got on the air, and you say in your book, hey, you know, I didn't originate this sketch. I kind of stole this sketch with permission. But the famous Jeopardy bit.
Yes, Jeopardy sketch.
Where you play Burt
yes,
Reynolds,
yes.
and you say Will Ferrell was key to that sketch because he played such a great Jeopardy host.
Yes.
But that thing was one of the most popular sketches, and you pitched that, but you admit in your memoir that, hey, that's something I got from SCTV.
Yeah.
And I waited till Martin Short was a guest on the show, and I pitched it and said, can we do the Jeopardy thing?
Yeah. They did a sketch on SCTV when I was a child called Halfwits, and it was Alex Trebek was in the sketch because he was a Canadian, and it was. It was just these kids. It was when two schools would fight each other, and so it was real stupid. So I always loved that show, and I said, Celebrity Jeopardy, they always ask such easy questions, and the celebrities are all so stupid. It would be great to do it. Unfortunately, they've already done it, and I feel like I shouldn't just steal a sketch.
Right.
So when Mr. Short came to do the show, who later became my friend, I said, who wrote that sketch? And he said, Eugene Levy. And I said, maybe we could phone him, and
get permission.
Get permission. And so he said, yeah, we'll do a conference call. And I said, no, I'll phone, I'm a man,
Yeah.
So I phoned Eugene Levy, and I asked him, I told him the whole sketch. I said how much I loved the first one, and I asked permission, and he was kind enough to give it to me.
There was no better show than that SCTV. That was unbelievable,
God,
right?
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Why does Turd Ferguson? Why does Burt Reynolds hate Alex Trebek?
What's funny is I wrote that sketch because on Saturday Night Live you have to do impressions once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do impressions, But I do like 4 or 5 guys from when I was a kid that I liked, Like Letterman I liked, so I could do an impression of him. And when I was a little kid, Burt Reynolds used to be on The Tonight Show, and he was like the funniest guy ever. So I wanted to do Burt Reynolds, but I couldn't figure out how to put him in anything.
Right.
And so I wrote the sketch Celebrity Jeopardy so I could do my Burt Reynolds. And then when it comes time to tape it, like Lauren... told Costume to have a white hair for me and a white beard, and I'm like, no, Lauren, I don't do Burt Reynolds. I do Burt Reynolds from the 1970s, from Smoking the Bandit.
Because that didn't make sense either. Nobody knew why. Why was it 70s?
I know, it made no sense. But it's funny, like you say, Turd Ferguson, because on one of them I go, Burt Reynolds goes, that's not my name, to Alex Trebek, and he forces himself to be called Turd Ferguson. He forces Alex Trebek to call him Turd Ferguson.
Right.
So anyway, somehow that caught on with some people. So still to this day, like sometimes I'll be walking down the street and a guy will go, hey, Turd! And then I go, thank you. And then everyone else goes, what?
What is going on?
What kind of universe is this? He was the same guy who told me I wanted Burt Reynolds on the show. And he was like, oh, you don't want him. He's crazy. And I'm like, no, I don't want you. I want him. I kind of wanted a crazy guy, which is what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about.
Oh, yeah. Burt
was
Reynolds,
this notion of crazy. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
But he's funny.
I remember one time he caught his hair on fire when he was over.
On the lot.
Yeah, he was he came over and he had caught his hair on fire. I don't know how. We're like, oh, you better go to the doctor. You've got a big friggin' hole in your scalp.
Because Roseanne's show was on the Radford, along with Seinfeld and Evening Shade. And I remember hearing a story, all his stories about Burt. And he would go on his hiatus, he'd go away and hire people for the show. And then people would show up, quit their job, in whatever bar he just found them in.
Oh, that's great.
And they'd come and go, we're ready to work. And he'd go, what? And they'd just pay him off. And the guy'd have to go home. But can you imagine that? Like you're in your little town and Burt Reynolds shows up at your candy store and offers you a job.
That's kind of, what was he thinking?
I don't know. But I think he had some, you were talking about you had OCD. He must have had some crazy stuff. Hey, you worked with Burt Reynolds.
Yes, I did work
on the TV show. Right?
Yeah, on Evening Shade, yeah.
Do you have any crazy Burt Reynolds stories?
No, not really, because, Burt, Burt had some wild times and everything. For some reason, he kind of took me under his wing, and he always liked me, and he actually helped me a lot in the beginning. And he was Harry Thomason and Linda Bloodworth Thomason, who ran that show, and another show I was on with them. Them and Burt are real big. Were real big helps to me, early on. And he was always really good to me. He did hit me one time live in front of an audience, and I couldn't breathe and I couldn't say my lines.
Slap?
He hit me with an open hand, but in the lung, and he's got arms like Popeye, those big forearms. And in the thing, I'm supposed to hit him. I'm supposed to slap him on the back and say something which pisses him off or whatever. And I come out there before the live audience, and when we rehearsed it, he said, I'm an old stunt man, so hit me as hard as you can. And I guess I hit him really hard because his natural reaction, I guess, was to hit me in the lung. And I couldn't talk. And they had to sort of suspend the big show for a few minutes while I got my breath back. But other than that, yeah, he was always really good to me.
Yeah, I always try to get him. Like whenever I had anything, I go get Burt Reynolds. Like he'd be the coolest. And then people go, no, you don't want to work with him. He's crazy. And then I go, no, I do want to work with him. I don't want to fucking work with you.
Yeah, right.
like crazy seems like such a dismissive. Don't you think like people have been denied work and shit just because people go, that guy's crazy?
Yeah.
And it has no meaning to it really.
Yeah.
It usually means creative to me or something.
That's right.
Or he's difficult. Who wants to work with some fucking simpleton?
Right.
You know what I mean? I met Burt Reynolds though, which was an amazing.
Was he pissed? Because he doesn't have a big sense of humor, does he?
You know what Burt Reynolds loves to do is slap you in the face really hard.
Yeah, he's like one of those masculine guys. He's punching you,
But no, he was real nice to me, and
did he slap you?
He told me really funny stories. He told me he was in Deliverance, which I loved. He said, I used to do my own gags. Gags, I guess, are like stunts. He was a stunt man.
Yeah.
And so he said, they had this gag, and where I went over a waterfall.
And what,
so
a car
or
something?
No, he just fell. This was
he just falls off a waterfall.
This was like Deliverance. They were in the middle of
right.
So he says, I'll do the fall. We don't need a stuntman. Frankenheimer says, no, we need a stuntman. He goes, nah, we don't want that. He goes, okay, well, we'll just use a dummy. We'll just throw a dummy over,
Yeah.
And he goes, no. So Frankenheimer's idea was just to throw a dummy over. And then Burt Reynolds said, no, absolutely, I'm going to do it myself. So Burt Reynolds says he does it, and he said he did, he said some term I'm not familiar with, I do a half bike or something like that. He said his shoulder immediately hit a rock, then his head hit another rock. And then he said, the next thing he remembered, he's way downstream, all his clothes had been torn off him. And he looked up and he was just like in shock, right? The next thing he remembers, he's waking up in a hospital. Yeah. John Frankenheimer is at his bedside. And he goes, then I said to John, how'd it look, on the daily? And John Frankenheimer said it looked like a dummy falling off a platform. So that made me laugh.
So he does have a good sense of humor.
He has a very good sense of humor.
And did Burt smack you around a couple of times just to show you where it was at?
So what was the first sketch that you ever got on, or what was the first written material that you ever got on the show?
I wrote a sketch for the first show because Burt Reynolds had just was on Larry King Live and was kind of famous at the time that because he was in a contentious divorce with Lonnie Anderson, and he was wearing this crazy purple suit on Larry King Live, and he announced, I will, Lonnie Anderson is lying, and I will get her on this show with you, Larry, and we'll both take truth serum. And I was like, truth serum? What? Is that even a real thing? So it was so funny. And then so I wrote a sketch where they both drank like from beakers of truth serum, you know. And Lauren did not care for it. It opened the show, you know. It was like a big hit at the table. What's his name did Burt Reynolds? Phil Hartman. Oh, wow. It was Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks. And it just... the next week, Lauren like pointed to it as the example of what we should not be doing on the show. He said it was just the, you know, he calls things Carol Burnettish, you know, which is the ultimate insult. He said it was just the most Carol Burnettish type of sketch. But I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. And he let me do it. It got all the way to the air. He chose it, and he put it on first. Not my fault.
Another endless day. Nobody's gonna change. You won't ever leave. On my mind again. I'm still not tired of it. Can make you want me. And I might act okay. Say things will stay the same. Say them all.
I love the Burt Reynolds impression you do. So a bit about A, like the genesis of it. B, has Burt, have you met Burt? Has he commented? And just while I have this, over the 41 years of SNL, I'm wondering, besides Farley, going back to day one, who are the players that really you most admire and maybe shaped you?
Well, when I was a kid, I liked, my favorite was Dan Aykroyd by 9 miles. And I always wondered why Chevy was the star, because I thought, God damn, Dan Aykroyd can do anybody, and he's so funny and stuff. And the reason I want to do Burt Reynolds, because I loved him when I was a kid. I don't really do impressions, but guys who I really like, I can do. And guys that are funny, it's kind of a cheat, but, you know, you do an impression of them, and then you're funny because they're funny. Do you know what I mean? So I always used to watch him on the Tonight Show, and I said, I got to get him a sketch. So then I stole this sketch called Halfwits from Second City, and I turned that into Celebrity Jeopardy. And I felt really bad for stealing the sketch. And so I waited until because Martin Short was coming on. And I said, Martin, can I do this sketch? You know, I stole it from Halfwits. And then he said, oh, I didn't write it. Eugene Levy wrote it. And I had to phone Eugene Levy and ask him. And he was a gentleman about it and said that I could do it. But then when I did it, you know, Lauren picks out the wardrobe. He had like this gray hair and gray beard and stuff. And I was like, no, I want to play it like in the 70s. It's kind of odd, but all the time I did it, nobody ever commented. And the 3 celebrities, one of them was from 50 years ago. Oh, Burt, yeah, no, I met him, and goddamn, that guy was funny. He just told me the funniest stories. And yeah, he said he wanted to, this is a story to him. He said, you know, he kid all these girls when he was young, you know, he was so handsome and everything. He said one time he was in a hotel, and there's this beautiful blonde, and she said, like, just come up to my room, you know, and have a lot of sex. So he goes up to her room, and they're kissing on the bed and stuff, and then he said she whispered in his ear, and she said, I'll be right back. I have to take a dump. So he ran away. Most of us wouldn't run away, but he could just get the next girl to next.
Okay, Mike. Mike is in Canada. Mike, do you have a question for Norm?
I do. Norm, so you have like a laundry list of impressions that you do. What would be your personal favorites, and why? And do you think you could do a little bit?
Good question.
I
can do Richard Farnsworth is my favorite guy to do.
Yeah? What's your favorite one?
Yeah, Richard Farnsworth.
Wait, who's Richard Farnsworth? Is that
an actor?
Yeah, from
The Straight Story and The Grey Wolf.
Oh yeah, Richard Farnsworth. Okay, yeah. Here's a Richard Wait, don't get rid of him. You just got to see the impression. Yeah.
He goes, when I was in the Army,
They made me the gunner because I was a good shooter down in Mississippi. I didn't know too much about it, but I would shoot. We had a scout. His name was Jim, and he was a prize fighter, and that's why they made him a scout, because he was fast. Well, one time he got trapped behind enemy lines, and he come back, and I saw something move, and I shot. And I saw something move again, and I shot, and then it stopped moving. The next day, they found old Ed, and everybody thought the Germans did it, and the people thought the Germans did it. Everybody thought they did it, except for me. That's it.
I love that impression. Yeah, Richard Farnsworth, ladies and gentlemen. It's like he was. No, it was like he was sitting right here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money in it. Let's be honest.
Now I was watching.
I couldn't sell it to Frank Caliendo.
Is it really my fault? 'Cause you try to hit me with your pity till I can't trust, but I still push on. Got me changing my ways, trying to fix it.
Everyone in the unit thought a German sniper had taken him. Everyone, all these years, everyone but me.
And what separates me, okay, from like Hollywood directors, okay, is that I have a huge head, all right, okay. Now I don't mean I have a big ego, okay, because I don't, all right. I mean my actual head is huge, all right. I mean I have to sleep sitting up, okay, like the Elephant Man, or I'll die, all right. But okay, get this though, okay. It was my huge head, okay, that thought up who was perfect to play Marcellus's wife, all right? Okay, Walter, your character, okay, is the Gimp, okay? Now, what you have to remember about your character is that he's like, okay, he's kept in a trunk, all right? In the basement of some guy's house, okay? And he's used for deviant, hardcore gay sex, okay?
Let's do it.
Power. The thing is, okay, about Pulp Fiction, okay, is I had to figure out who was the best guy for it, okay? So, I had to look into my big misshapen head, all right?
You say I don't listen. I tell you I try. And we both got our own problems. But
he's an old man. You think Scorsese's going to be into Ant-Man versus the Wasp? Why not? But he's not going to be, all right? I don't think he would have been that into that at 37.
The search continues in the Indian Ocean for the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 as they listen and try to follow the pings. These guys sound like me always listening for pings. The pings are my Chinese neighbors. Jim and Ellen Ping. Jim, the other day, he, very nice guy, Jim Ping, he...
oh, they really do exist. What is this thing you're doing with your face?
Oh, it's...
Do you have allergies?
No, I'm not used to these glasses, but he was very nice.
So you think that's going to help?
And he lent me... is that the face I'm making?
Well, one time I thought you were joking around. You were looking at me like...
Ping? That is my neighbor. A nice fella.
Nice guy?
Let me his abacus
I want to do
yesterday.
this.
Jesus! Oh, come on, that's not a Chinese guy.
I wasn't saying it was.
No, that's kind of racist. What are you, Mickey Rooney?
Hey. Hey, come on.
I know he's dead,
Have a
but
little
Mickey Rooney
respect.
did a very racist thing like you just did in a movie called Breakfast at Tiffany's by the wonderful Truman Capote.
I wasn't doing anything racist, and you know it. But go ahead. I was just doing like someone...
I like Audrey Hepburn. I don't think of her, I don't whack off when I think of her, but she had style.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for saying something that's been on my mind for a long time.
You like her too?
Sure.
Yeah. She was class.
No, I was thinking about... Why?
Audrey Hepburn had class, but Katharine Hepburn could hang with the fellas.
Thank you. And That was a better time back then, right? It wasn't. So don't get me started.
No, it was a worse time. You know why?
They took care.
Because they had separate water fountains for the black people and the Chinese people.
What?
You know, and what did they do back then?
Segregated water fountains you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know you're just kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
Well,
they
yeah,
had
but everybody
segregated
knows.
water fountains.
Now, I know you're not kidding about the event of it happening, but I know you're kidding. Of course, everybody knows that.
I'm saying it's a bad thing.
Well, of course it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But answering to my
question. It existed, as did the Holocaust.
Norm by far. Norm will cut your legs right off.
We had to bring in an extra medic just for, the damage that Norm could possibly do.
He's made people cry.
Yeah.
He did Last Comic Standing. He was the only honest judge. He would tell comics they were hacks. It was awesome. The comics hated him. Joe List did it, and he goes, "Joe, you're a very good writer." And Anthony Jeselnik goes, "Hey, Joe, that Norm just called you ugly," which is such a great line.
Damn.
But, oh, my God.
My story with Norm is it doesn't start out great, because I did Last Comic Standing in 2000 and whatever. It never aired. And I did my joke, and I did well, and it was him, it was Damon Wayans, and Roseanne.
Yeah.
And Roseanne liked me. Damon Wayans, he was not, he was just yeah. He just smiled and laughed. I think he said right on. I don't know what he was just barely there. He wasn't, I don't remember anything either way. And then Norm was "How many years have you been doing comedy?" I'm 4. He's "What? It takes 10 years to be a comedian. What are you doing here?" I was "Ah." And I remember that was the biggest gut punch I got in stand-up. And I remember being at the Hilton by where they shoot all those shows. By where is that? Universal City?
Yeah.
That area?
Yeah.
I was in the Hilton, and I was just I couldn't even eat. I was "This is horrible." And I spoke to one of the comics I was staying with at that point. And he was "Last Comic Standing." He's "You go in there and they pay legends to tell you not to do what you love," which is kind of what. But I got over it. I kept doing it. And then he became a fan of us later on and a lot of shit we were doing. And he was right. I was a 4-year, 5-year comic then. It's you do need more time to mature.
The other time I met him was on Last Comic Standing when he was a judge, and I got eliminated in the first round. I had a pretty good set. Better than a lot of people who moved on, but it's NBC. Let's face it.
That's how it goes.
But I remember I had one joke that Norm singled out and goes, "That joke is gold." And that to me was to me, I didn't even feel that bad. I got locked off because I was Norm MacDonald, who is the judge that I connected to his work the most. It was Roseanne and Keenan. I connect to Roseanne's politics, of course, but no. But it was Roseanne and Keenan Ivory Wayans, and obviously I love In Living Color. But Norm, I'm a comic. Norm was the guy I connected with, and the joke he loved was I said, my last girlfriend was a hoarder, and she broke up with me, which stings extra hard. I'm the one thing she can get rid of. And he said he loved that joke, and then I got Keenan kind of digged me in the last comic thing. He said, "I like some of your jokes, but not all of them." And I said, "Well, I loved all your scary movie films," and it got a huge laugh. And I only did the first 2. And I was all right. I remember I saw Norm in the food.
Yeah.
He couldn't let it pass. He couldn't take the L on that one. I knew I was out after that.
Right.
And then I'm walking through the thing. It was a break. I guess they were taking a break, the paid audience, and I see Norm, and he goes, "I really like that you dug it."
Oh!
So that was a special moment.
He's the real deal. He really is.
Yeah, I think he could tell. And I said I met you once at Caroline's, and I told him I really like.
Yeah.
We're all going to be following Anthony Jeselnik on Twitter as he live tweets Last Comic Standing, and then of course Norm being at the end chair. That's just manna from heaven. Thank you, God.
Sure, but
to watch Norm
that was
MacDonald.
why I took the gig was to work with Norm. I was "Oh, that's amazing. When am I going to chance like this again? Let me do this." And the way he was in the taping is so much better than the way they edit that it kills me.
Why? Because I think he's really good on the show.
He's
really
good on the show.
Constructive advice.
He's good, but it was fascinating to see him unfiltered, especially when they took out all the bad comics. Some of the funniest stuff on that show is when a bad comic comes up and the judges trash them. I'm trashing them. That was really fun, and that's all gone. They didn't want to embarrass anyone. So it's the one reality show where they don't want the drama. And Norm was like borderline a monster to people. Like he would say things that would kill me. That I would be like on the floor dying laughing. Like I would have to take time. One of my favorites was he told this one girl. He told this one girl. He said he just like and she did fine. Like the other two judges really liked her, and this is what would happen was like the other two judges would like the person, the crowd liked the person, and then Norm would just be like, I think you suck, and it would be like everyone's like, I can't believe you're saying this, and I can't believe you're so against the other two judges. But so this girl, he says she's done fine, the other judges like her. Norm says, I thought that was horrible. I think you're one of the worst people I've seen in this whole competition, and I'm like dying laughing. And then he goes, I think that you are incapable of writing a joke. And she goes, oh, well, I'll work on that. She's trying to be nice. She's like, okay, thank you. I'll work on that. And he goes, no, don't work on it. I said you are incapable. And that was the most like crushing thing he could have said to someone.
I actually got into an argument on the subway, and the guy quoted the Bible at me. That is not fair. Like, if you get to quote from your favorite book, I should be able to quote from my favorite book, right? He was like, men do not live on bread alone, Matthew 4:4. And I was like, everybody's a little bit magic, Harry Potter, chapter 7. It's not a fair fight, right?
You say there's no way we could go back, and that I've broken what we had. Oh, I wish that you would come around. No.
I disagree. I don't think the Bible joke is brave at all. I think if you're going to take on an entire religion, you should maybe know what you're talking about. J.K. Rowling is a Christian, and J.K. Rowling famously said that if you're familiar with the scriptures, you could easily guess the ending of her book.
Huh? Okay.
I don't like it.